Hello there, apologies for not uploading last night. As you guys know, the race ended around midnight, so I thought it was pretty pointless to then upload something around what would have been 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So here we are today on a Monday, and we're going to talk about the NASCAR race, first NASCAR race on NBC this year at Nashville. Now, I'll be straight up honest with you guys. The majority of this race review is going to be talking a lot about something NASCAR did and NBC, because those are the two things I took away from this race. And when you watch a race that essentially lasts over 7 hours in terms of real time with red flags and cautions and the actual race itself, you kind of forget a lot of the details, the little intricate details about the race. So those are the two things that I really want to focus on, and then kind of laugh. And I don't want to, be rude, but you guys know I root for Hendrick Motorsports, so I just want to make sure all my biases are aside. But even though I do watch as a neutral, even though I slightly do watch for Hendrick Motorsports, but I do like to laugh sometimes at how Joe Gibbs Racing threw that race away, because it really truly makes no sense. They dominated the whole race. I don't understand it. So yeah, they losing that race was, but to be fair, some of it wasn't their fault, and we'll talk about that decision as well. I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members, as always, for always supporting the channel. You guys are the absolute best, and I want to give you guys some news. So this is my room, obviously, and I'm still living with my parents because COVID was nonsense. So I decided to stay home, save money, and I am moving out August 2nd. So August 2nd, I'll be moving out, and I might have some pre-recorded videos, but in August, we'll have a completely new setup. I'll do an apartment tour for you guys. Good old Skywalker's going to come with me. And again, I'll try to make a new setup, fresher, and I'm going to have the whole room to myself to design, and hopefully I can make better content and be able to kind of go on my own, go on my own terms. One of the main reasons I'm moving out is so I can really set up everything how I want it. So thank you guys so much, as always, Patreon members and everyone who watches and subscribes and everything, because obviously I do this full time, so I would not be able to move out and all this stuff if it wasn't for you guys watching, subscribing, liking, and supporting the channel directly. So thank you guys so much. You have no idea how much it means. So right off the bat, guys, we are going to, unfortunately for NBC, this race, ratings-wise, will not do well because, rain. That's what happened. And some people don't feel bad because that's what NBC wanted. They wanted a 5 o'clock start time, try to get that prime time, main NBC, and try to get those ratings up. And, you can't predict, the future when these races are determined and times are determined. It's months and months ago, right? So they don't know the weather forecast or anything. Unfortunately for the weather, it hit right at the time where if you did start at 3 o'clock or even 2 o'clock, it would have been fine. They would have gotten the full race in, even though the fans would have to sit in like 95-degree heat, but they would have gotten the full race in. That's the one negative side of NBC, but I'm not going to get harsh on them because, guys, leave your comments down below what you thought of the broadcast. But to me, you guys know how hard I've been on Fox and what I've been hard on them about Fox. I'm not hard on Mike Joy or Larry Mack or Clint Boyer. I'm fine with them. I'm not hard on them with that. I'm hard on the production team, the director, the camera guys, all those guys, who for some reason, it's the high level production guys at Fox. Whoever calls the shots, the director, whoever calls the shots, those are the guys I have a problem with. All these things in life take talent, and skill. So if you want to be a director at Fox and run the whole TV production, that's a very tough job, and I fully respect everyone who does it, and I'm not going to sit here and say I can do it. I can't. I understand how hard it is. I also can't play basketball at a professional level. I also cannot paint at a professional level. So I'm just aware of these things that I can and can't do. However, if I went and saw an artist, and I saw their painting, and then I saw another artist, and I saw their painting, I can, as a consumer or just a viewer, objectively say, wow, this artist's painting is incredible, and this artist's painting, it's all right, but I think it has some work to do. That's the difference between Fox and NBC. NBC's TV production last night was on par with what Sky Sports does with Formula One, and that's all I ask. Actually, that's more than what I asked, because Sky Sports is a worldwide, they basically have to do a worldwide feed. F1 has to do a worldwide TV production feed, so they have more money to do those things. NBC's broadcast was simply outstanding. It reached that level to me, which is more than what I expected or even wanted. They were terrific. So right off the bat, guys, I want to give a shout out. I wish I knew their names. Whoever runs the shots at NBC TV production, cameramen, everyone who works in that booth, Rick Allen, Dale Jr., Jeff Burton, Steve Letarte, and everyone behind the camera and everyone that helps them and everyone that calls the shots, camera shots, all that stuff. They did an incredible job. I really wish I had all their names because they deserve the credit, they deserve a raise, and they deserve all the plaudits from everyone. It was simply incredible. There were times last night where everyone was on sync. So you had Jeff Burton and Dale Jr. when they were watching the race and they're looking out on the track and they see a wreck. They scream it. They're like, oh, we got a wreck. Oh, we got a big one. And within 1 to 2 seconds, the camera gets to it. Right away. Gets to it. And then afterwards, they have multiple angles, multiple replays, different views of every wreck or something that happened. And they have multiple passes in the midfield. And so it's just a full team effort. So this is the benefit of having 4 guys in the booth, because you have Rick Allen doing the play-by-play, and he's getting better and better as the year. I mean, he really was annoying at the beginning, but he's getting better and better as the years go on. You have Steve Letarte, who is doing just an absolutely terrific job with the technical aspects of the sport and explaining to us, the viewer, why this is so hard, why this is so difficult, and why certain things happen. And this is the one thing I love about F1 is their tech savviness and how they explain to us, the viewer, about certain things that are going on and all that. And that's what Steve Letarte brings. He's doing an insanely incredible job, and it should not be understated. And then you have the 2 drivers, Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr., who are watching the race and they're watching things that happen. They could give the driver input, but they're also keeping a key eye out for anything that happens on the track. And trust me, even as if you go to a racetrack and even as a fan sitting in the stands, it's hard to catch a wreck. You know what I mean? It is very difficult because your eyes are looking in one spot and you could be, the wreck could happen somewhere completely different. It's very difficult to catch that wreck. So they have to catch the wreck, and then the TV guys, whether it be a camera, all this happens within 3 seconds. Everyone has to be on cue, and it was just a terrific broadcast. You will see this for the rest of the season, and night and day, it is unbelievably different to Fox. There was a segment, I'm not going to show too much of it for copyright reasons, obviously it's NBC's work, but there was a segment where Steve Letarte was going into the loose wheel issue. Why are there so many loose wheels? This is something we were wondering. Fox never really got into. NBC came prepared. They came with this beautiful graphic that showcased essentially what is going on with the new wheel guns and the nut and everything like that. And it was like a minute long. And they, obviously I'm not going to show all of it here. I could probably only show snippets, but it was a minute long, and they did just a terrific job at explaining why this is happening, what's causing it, and maybe what you can do to fix it. It was just honestly incredible. I don't think anyone had an issue with anything that NBC did. They portrayed the sport exactly how I want them to. I can spend another 30 minutes on this video just crediting them and applauding them and giving them all the love and affection that I have. And I want you guys in the comments to do that, and I want you guys on social media to do that. Don't let it go. Don't take it for granted. When something good happens or something that we like, we take it for granted. We're not as voiceful or passionate about things that are okay. We're voiceful and passionate about things that are not okay. That's why, YouTubers or Twitter, and to be fair, it's true, the negative side of things get spoken louder about, and you see them more often than the positive side of things, because when things are positive, everyone's like, cool, great, that's it, I don't got anything to say. I'm sitting here, guys, I don't know how long it's been, I'm sitting here, I'll continue sitting here praising them, applauding them, tweeting about it, and making sure they know that we do not take this for granted as fans, because this was a terrific broadcast. And compared to Fox, I don't like coming after people's careers, but there's a very, very clear difference in terms of talent and communication and execution of the TV production that NBC has with NASCAR and the TV production that they have with Fox and NASCAR. It's just so clear. It's so clear to the point where you need different voices and different high-level executives up there. So again, I don't want to sit here and say I'm calling for their jobs, but either they emphatically improve, or NASCAR have a conversation with them and say, listen, this is how we want it done, and you need to do it like this, like how NBC's doing it. I do want a linear broadcast across the entire season where there's not many differences. And right now you can tell the difference between Fox and NBC is just night and day. It's like It's like, if you want a Star Wars comparison, it's like Mustafar is a planet and Alderaan. Alderaan's this beautiful city. Before it gets blown up to pieces, which NBC might get blown up to pieces in 2 years' time with the TV contract. And Mustafar is a lava planet that you don't want to be on. Fox is Mustafar, and NBC is Alderaan. And yes, Alderaan might get blown up, just like it got blown up in the movies. Spoiler alert, if you didn't know. NBC might not be around. That's the rumor, is that NBC is not going to renew the TV contract after 2024, and that would be a true shame. A true shame. Fox is going to stay around. They have the Daytona 500. I'm pretty sure they will re-up. But then we're basically asking ESPN to reproduce the level that NBC's gotten to. And as long as they bring along Dale Earnhardt Jr., there's a chance. But right now, NBC has it nailed down. Have I gone long enough about it? I'm not even talking about the race anymore. Yeah, comment down below, honestly. It's just so good. So incredibly good. Now that I'm talking about that long enough, let's get to the race. So, Joe Gibbs Racing dominated the entire race, guys. I thought it was a decent race. I think there is clearly an issue with the car. This isn't a short track. Nashville is not a short track, but you are going like 100 miles per hour in the corners, which is much slower than, let's say, the 1.5 intermediate ovals. So it's kind of like a mix. And we're seeing with this car that lower speeds in the corners, it's the rear diffuser that should be causing some of the issues. The dirty air is pretty bad, but it's not bad when you're going faster at speedways, which doesn't make sense. So, it's like this. We're so used to higher speeds, more dirty air, but the rear diffuser is doing something with the cars where actually the lower speeds is making following other cars harder. But when you actually go faster, then it's not as bad. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, so NASCAR kind of has to look into something for next year. They need to take the rear diffuser off at short tracks and anything that I would say is not a 1.5 mile track. I think that will help with it a lot. So they need to test it and experiment with it. So don't think that's going to happen later this year. But hopefully they can get something done later this year in a test session to have it ready for next year. A configuration of the next-gen car just without the rear diffuser to clear up that dirty air. I think they know what the issue is. I think we are starting to know what the issue is. And I think the drivers know what the issue is. I think we'll get better racing at the short track. So it is causing a little bit of an issue. This race was still good, don't get me wrong. But the dirty air is a pretty big issue. Now, you still notice the benefits of the next-gen cars that when they do get side-by-side, they are able to stay side-by-side way better than the Gen 6 car, and that's because of the lack of side force. So it's definitely a much better race car. It's just that, for some reason, the rear diffuser is causing those issues on slow-speed corners at short tracks. So hopefully they can take it off in the future. And overall, guys, the race was decent. The race basically was determined on some strategy with 90 to go. So Chase Elliott decided to pit with four fresh tires, had a really good restart, was able to get up to like 6th within one lap, and was able to, with his 20 lap fresher tires, compete with those Joe Gibbs Racing guys. That got him into the battle with Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. Denny Hamlin's crew chief Denny Hamlin's pit crew let him down on multiple instances, so he had to fight his way back multiple times, which basically set him back. And then there was a caution with 6 to go. And so that caution, or 7 or 8 to go, that caution changed everything because they were basically on 45, 50 lap old tires, and a lot of the teams did not know what to do. Personally, I did not know what to do. I was confused. I was sitting there and I was like, if I'm the leaders, do I pit? Because fresh tires, 50 lap old tires, it probably matters a good amount, like what's gonna happen in the split second when I was there. If I was the leader, I would have stayed out. If I was second place, I would have pitted, and that's what happened. What I didn't realize, I think the same thing with the Joe Gibbs Racing guys, they did not think that 10 cars would stay out, and that is what happened. Essentially, 10 guys stayed out. So Kyle Busch was on the 6th row on the outside lane, and he just got blocked in. So if Kyle Busch was in the 3rd row, which I think when they pitted, including me, so that's why I'm not getting mad at Joe Gibbs Racing for what they did. I did not think 10 cars would stay out. Chase Elliott and those guys, they got pretty lucky. They stayed out, and that's the move you have to make if you are the leader, in my opinion. You cannot come down pit road, and they just got lucky with the amount of cars that stayed out. So Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Truex, all those guys, they just simply could not get back up to where they needed to. And then the controversy of this came with Brad Keselowski. So there was a wreck involving Brad Keselowski, and he was going slow. and NASCAR did not throw the yellow. Now, do I think that was a yellow? Yes, I think it was a yellow. You have to think about the situation that they were in. I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not defending NASCAR. I want to make that very clear. But they've been there for 7 hours. It is midnight, and they want the race to end, okay? And so they made the call. A car didn't spin out. Yes, there were cars on the wall. Yes, it was basically a wreck, and there was damaged race cars. And there was a slow car on the track that took the access road. So they were basically out of danger. But at any other time of the race, it's a caution. At any other time, that is a caution. NASCAR will throw the yellow. They wanted the race to end. They saw Keselowski going slow and saw him on the access road. And they were like, it's safe. Now, on the final lap, Keselowski was on the apron and his car was like going super slow and he was like going 10 miles per hour down there. I don't think that's safe. To me, they should have thrown the caution way earlier. But once they made their bed, they kind of had to lay in it and they just let it go green. What if someone spun coming off turn 2 and hit Keselowski? Those things could have happened. He wasn't fully out of the way. So do I think it was the wrong call? Yeah. But their reasoning simply is they wanted the race to end. It has nothing to do with Chase Elliott leading. So you know, conspiracy theorists, it has nothing to do with that. It's as simple as they wanted the race to end. It was late. They've been there for a while, and they were like, no one fully turned around. No one stopped on track, and Keselowski's, you know, off the track in 1 and 2. We'll let it go green. That is their call. It is not consistent with what they were doing the whole race. But if you just understand that NASCAR usually isn't consistent, you'll be okay to live with it. I know some of you guys are gonna yell at me and say, "Oh, you're just a Chase Elliott fan. You know, you wanted him to win." I'm just giving you what NASCAR. They're not gonna come out and say it, but that's why NASCAR did it. They wanted the race to end. It was 7 hours in. They wanted it to end. It was midnight. They're already gonna get shafted in the ratings because of what happened with the rain. And essentially, they just saw a slow car and they were like, whatever. He didn't spin out. That's it. A human's in charge of that. You know, like, it's not a robot. A robot, if it was a robot, the caution would have came out. If it was an iRacing surface, the caution would have came out. But this is a human. So just like balls and strikes, the humans are going to make the calls. And sometimes humans just want to go home. They've been there long enough. They're tired and they want to go home. That's it. I've been going on long enough, guys, so I want to wrap it up here. And like I said, this video is going to be mostly about a controversy with NASCAR and praising NBC. So that's what I did. So let's quickly touch on the race results. Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott won. Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin, Cindric, Bell, Logano, Harvick. The race results got, again, with that caution with 10 to go and all the strategy, it really got shaken up. The Gibbs cars got screwed. They got absolutely screwed. They were running like 2, 3, 4, 6 when the caution came out, and they ended up finishing 6th, 8th. Oh my God, 6th, 8th. Kyle Busch is 21st, and Martin Truex Jr. is 22nd. They got annihilated. That's just the how it goes. I want to give a shout out to Bubba Wallace. He finished in 12th. He ran really well, and his crew chief and his team screwed him. The loose wheel incident, and I feel bad because, you know, I am critical of Bubba Wallace. I think he really, really, really needs to improve on road courses, and overall his racecraft, I think he needs to be better. Super speedways, he's terrific. I mean, I think he could win any super speedway race. If you told me right now who's my favorite for the Daytona 500, I'm picking Bubba Wallace because I truly think he can win it. So I have full respect for him there. This race was not his fault. He did a great job. He was performing or outperforming his teammate and Kurt Busch. His teammate finished second. Bubba Wallace, you know, got put back in the pack, and then his crew chief got him trapped a lap down, and he still came back to finish 12th. It's that one's hard on him, you know. That one kind of sucked. So I want to give a shout out to him because he really did good, and obviously I think I am very critical on him, just like he's very critical on himself, and I still will be. Like when the next race, the next road, I think we're going to Road America next. I don't think he's going to do very well there, and I think he seriously needs to do much better at road courses. There's just no excuses for it. If we're going to go to 7 road courses per year, you got to be able to run top 10. Not top 20, not top 15. I need you to run top 10. I need you to show me that you can run top 10. He hasn't been able to do it yet, so he needs to do better there. But this race he did really well, and he got screwed. So I want to give a shout out to him because that's very frustrating. And yeah, I'm not going to go into too much of it because, guys, I've already been talking for basically 20 minutes, and I don't want this video to run on too long. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and we'll be back for another amazing TV broadcast. And you guys don't understand how much of a difference it makes to the race. It can genuinely change your perception of a race if the broadcast, you know, you're watching it, and the things that they could tell you and inform you on and keep you entertained. It's so important. Shout out to NBC. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Subscribe if you're new. Comment down below. Hit like button if you enjoyed the video. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. Take care of yourselves. And God bless Steve Letarte, Jeff Burton, Rick Allen, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., and the director of NBC. I love you guys so much. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.